Okay, what's up YouTube? This is J-Man Time, and today we're going to be doing a video on the top 5 rarest Greek weapons or Greek infantry weapons of the last 150 plus years. Now, the Greek military since the 1870s has designed many of their own infantry firearms, so I compiled a list of the top 5 rarest Greek infantry weapons ever designed from the year 1872 to present. These weapons are ranked from the rarest, or at least to those that were the most effective or the most innovative. So here we go. Number 5, the Greek Melones M1872 rifle. The Melones was a rare Greek single-shot breech-loading rifle designed between 1871 and 1872. The Melones rifle was actually based on a Belgian rifle known as the Model 1870 Comblain. The Comblain was a breech-loading single-shot rifle that had been used by the Belgian army since 1870. Greece ordered some of these weapons for themselves, but ultimately decided to make their own version of the Comblain, which later turned into the Melones M1872, which came out 2 years after the Belgian Comblain rifle, which came out in 1870, but was designed between 1868 and 1869. This weapon fired an 11 by 59 millimeter rimmed Gras cartridge, which is the same cartridge used in the French Gras Melee 1874 rifle, but this weapon was designed at the same time as the Gras. Remember, the Gras rifle is just a redesigned chest-pull rifle made to fire the 11 by 59 millimeter rimmed cartridge. The Melones rifle entered service in 1872 and stayed in service until 1944 during as a weapon used by the Greek resistance. Now, during the Second World War, the Melones rifle was actually reissued to the Greek army, even though the Greek army had more modern rifles. The reason being, in 1940, both Italy and Germany invaded Greece, twice in 1940 and again in 1941. This was known as the Greco-Italian War and later the German invasion of Greece. During the German invasion of Greece, the Greek army was running low on modern weapons and began issuing Melones rifles to some of the Greek infantry units. In total, over 8,500 of these weapons were used. They were used all the way up until the end or the last year of the Second World War, between 1944 and 1945, making this one of the longest serving Greek infantry weapons. The Melones rifle is literally the first Greek weapon ever designed, or Greek infantry weapon ever designed, since Greece gained its independence. Number 4 is the Tropy Model 1975. The Tropy Model 1975 was a Greek experimental assault rifle / battle rifle. This weapon combined the lightweight portability of the Belgian FN-FAL with the firepower of the FN-FAL and the light metallic or plastic-like design of the American M16/AR-10 series and AR-15 series. And it used the high-caliber cartridge of the Soviet AK-47. Now, during the Cold War, the Greek military wanted to create their own battle rifle / assault rifle, and the Tropy Model 1975 was both a combination of an assault rifle and a battle rifle. It was based on the Belgian FN-FAL, but it fired the cartridge of the Soviet AK-47 and SKS series of semi-automatic and fully automatic assault rifles. This weapon had a 30-round magazine and had a rate of fire of between 475 to 900 rounds per minute. That is an estimate. The actual rate of fire of this weapon is unknown. So this weapon is one of the rarer of the Greek weapons. The weapon was designed by the Tropy plant. Now, the Tropy is a Greek chemical plant or chemical factory that's been in service since 1884, I believe. And they have been designing prototype weapons for the Greek military since the 1930s, but none of these weapons have ever been adopted. This weapon, the Tropy Model 1975, is probably the first Greek assault weapon or assault rifle / battle rifle ever designed, with the exception of the Milones, which is a battle rifle, but it is not the same type of battle rifle. Keep in mind, there are two types of battle rifle. There's a military grade battle rifle, which is usually a bolt action rifle, and then there is the battle rifle, the assault rifle or fully automatic rifle that is designed both to be an assault rifle and a marksman weapon. And this Trophy model 1975 is definitely a marksman weapon, a battle rifle with the capabilities of an assault rifle. Number 4 is the Trophy or Kropy GP10. The Kropy GP10 was another Greek experimental weapon. This time we have a Greek experimental submachine gun from 1975. This weapon came in two different variants, one in 9 by 19 millimeter parabellum and a second in .45 ACP. This weapon used either a 15 to 30 round magazine and had a rate of fire of 500 to 600 rounds per minute. This weapon was meant to replace the older American Tommy guns and the German MP40s and the U.S. Defense D2. Or the U.S. Defense M1942. These were all submachine guns that were still in service with the Greek military in the 1970s, and the Greeks wanted to replace them with their own domestic design, and this Trophy GP10 was one of those prototype weapons. Unfortunately, like the Trophy battle rifle, it was never adopted, and this is one of the rare Greek prototype weapons designed by the Greeks. It is one of the, I guess, more simplistic weapons, I guess you could say, and it's pretty simple looking even for a submachine gun of that era. So yeah. And number 2, one of the rarest Greek weapons of the Second World War. Number 2 is the Marke Kano submachine gun, or the Marke Kano M1943. This weapon was an improvised submachine gun designed between 1942 and 1943. It was used by the Greek resistance following the collapse of Greece to both Germany and Italian forces in 1941. This weapon was designed by workers turned resistance fighters from the Trophy plant. The Trophy plant is the same plant or company that designed the previous two weapons on this list, the GP10 and the model 1975 battle rifle. Now, this company had begun designing firearms in the 1930s, and when Germany took over Greece, many of their employees went on to make weapons for the Greek resistance, and this weapon is one of them. The Marke Kano is an improvised or homemade submachine gun from 1943. It is chambered in the .45 ACP cartridge and fires from either a 20 to 30 round magazine and has a rate of fire of between 400 to 500 rounds per minute. Some other sources state this weapon is chambered in 9mm parabellum and used the German MP40, but other sources stated that it was chambered in the .45 ACP and used ammunition dropped to them by the American OSS. Keep in mind, during the occupation of Greece, both the US OSS and the British MI6 sent weapons to the Greek resistance to fight against both the German and Italian occupation of Greece. And this weapon is one of the weapons designed by the Greek resistance. This weapon is number 2 because it's a high quality weapon that was made by a bunch of partisan fighters fighting against the occupation of their country. So this is one of the rare Greek weapons I'm pretty sure most of you have never heard of, but now you do. And that brings us to number 1. Number 1 is pretty much the coolest / best Greek prototype weapon ever designed, and it is the Greek EPK Picarial M1939. The M1939 was actually designed in 1936, and it is an experimental or limited production light machine gun. This weapon was chambered for an experimental cartridge or a limited production cartridge, the 7.92 by 36mm EPK, and was fed by either a 20 to 30 round magazine and had a rate of fire of 720 rounds per minute. 720 rounds per minute. Only 10 to 15 of these were ever made. These were meant to be the standard machine guns or handheld light machine guns of the Greek military. Between 1935 and 1939, Greek tried to modernize their military as tensions in Europe was building. Greek realized, just like in World War I, they might be drawn into this new conflict if it were to happen. So the Greeks spent about 5 to 6 years trying to modernize their military up until the year 1940, where Italy invaded, and then later in 1941 when the Germans and the Italians invaded at the same time. This weapon was a limited production weapon. As I said, only 10 to 15 of these were ever made, and they were used during the Second World War. Today, only about 3 or 4 of them survive, but there are no new photographs of these weapons. There's only rumors of these weapons surviving. I know one of them is owned by some rich Greek family, and that's about it. This weapon here is my favorite Greek weapon of all time. It is literally the most advanced weapon, or at least most advanced infantry weapon designed by the Greeks, other than their drones, UAVs, and some of their infantry fighting vehicles that were designed in more recent years. But in terms of the last 150 years, this is my favorite Greek weapon, the Greek EPK Pikaros/M1936 or M1939, the rarest/coolest of the Greek prototype weapons ever designed. So what do you think of this list? Please tell me in the comments section below. And until next time, this was J-Man Time signing off. And if you have a country you want me to do a top 5 list on, please put it in the comment section below. And until next time, peace.